and welcome to Global Talk Show by Business Bar Academy, Netherlands. And today, from India, we have an eminent personality, and that this episode is going to change millions of lives, millions of transformation. So, get ready for another amazing show, none other than from India, Andrew Shepherd. So, welcome, Andrew, to our show. It's been great pleasure and privilege for me to host you today.
Thank you so much, Supriya, and it's a pleasure to be on this talk show. And I do hope that the little bit that I share is useful to everyone who's listening. And I thank everybody who's listening and watching for being on this show too.
Great one, Andrew. And now my global audience are so inquisitive and they are so much honored to listen to you, Andrew. So without any pause, I want to start straight away your inspiring life journey, which is going to be a super awesome, super engaging, and super inspiring.
Okay, my life journey. Right. So I'm I'm touching 60 now. So I mean, to put 60 years into 3 minutes or 6 minutes is going to be very difficult. But I'll try my best as we go along. So wha- I'll just start with a little bit about my father and mother. My mother, of course, was a homemaker and school teacher. My father was in the railways throughout his life, and it's the railway touch that made a lot of difference in my life because I have been at a lot of stations and junctions, and surprisingly, I haven't yet reached a terminal. So that's how I could just put it in as short as I could. The stations and junctions have been all across India as work has taken me, and also before work, my life has taken me across these areas. So I finished my graduation in science and joined the healthcare industry in India. Started with India's number one pharmaceutical company, moved on to a couple of other pharmaceutical companies, worked with, I would say, Germany's number one diagnostic company, which was operating here also in India. And then later on, probably India's number one biotech company. So it's been a fantastic journey for me. Is that the three different segments in the healthcare I've been able to experience. Pharmaceuticals gave me the experience of consultative operations or consultative selling and how that impacts the decisions within the organization. Diagnostics probably was more of an enterprise kind of selling, and that then changed the entire scenario when it came to the office dynamics or the thought processing, the conceptualization that happened. And biotech, it was more of critical care products. So this was really a hurry, dynamic situation always, because critical care means ICUs, and that sort of it's a lot of transactional work that goes on. So with working in these three different sectors in the pharmaceutical industry, just I got the experience, the opportunity, the 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 the, the opportunity to ideate and innovate in three different scenarios: consultative, enterprise, as well as the transactional.
Yeah.
And as I said, this was work was taken me around India, and that has given me a good feeling of the diversity that is there in India. I mean, Supriya, you're very familiar with India. So, I mean, you travel 100 kilometers in India. Uh, the culture changes, the
Yeah,
cuisine changes, the dressing changes, the dress codes change. Sort of everything changes. It's like
exactly.
you're in a new country. And so the diversity, the and when you work with such a diverse team, then the inclusiveness comes into play, and
Mhm.
you really are working with a team, right? And working with that empathy and that equity in mind, basically. So it's been a fantastic journey right now. And as I said, touchwood, touchwood, yeah. There's been stations, there've been junctions, but there's no terminal as yet.
I really loved your journey when you said stations, but no terminals. But I can say it is, and it was, and it will be a beautiful journey, because coming from a biotech ground, and you just work in such a great biotech companies, which you have narrated, told us just now. So this is a great experience of life, moving from biotech and then this, and still terminal has not arrived. So
And
we
and
can't
and, and,
wait
and
for that. Right.
the best part of it is, I probably worked in all the number one companies,
Exactly.
so, and
And
that's
that's the beauty of your journey, because when you work with such prestigious company, you feel great. You feel what you wanted, you have achieved it, and it will be inspiring for the world too. So I hats off to you for your journey, and I really, really appreciate you for such a great, inspiring. And I know people who are watching us live and who will be watching this video again, they are going to take a lot and lot of wisdom of nuggets in their life from your inspiring journey. Well, Andrew, I know this journey which you have just enlightened with us, with the world, this is not at all an easy journey, which we are seeing now, which we are feeling now. Wow, lovely journey. It must be having, or it must have, or you would have faced lot of challenges. So can we know what kind of challenges you had faced? And the most important, my global audience would love to know, how did you overcome those challenges which people call as problems? So kindly enlighten this beautiful journey.
yeah. Then, so this is India, so you will get plenty of challenges. You go to any airport in India at 6 o'clock in the morning, and you'll find the biggest traffic jam ever during the day. So it's a fast-moving country, and it's the country of the future. So there's plenty of challenges, and that I started my career in the mid 80s.
Yeah,
So you could well imagine that coming through the 80s, the 90s, and then as we slowly grew into what we are today, the financial challenges that came up for the country and for each one of us. Very simple. I mean, back in the 80s and 90s, we didn't have these wonderful roads that we
yeah.
have today. So mobility was always a challenge there. Connectivity was a challenge there.
Mhm.
Agility was not a word that anybody spoke about during those days of the 80s and 90s.
Yeah.
Today, everything is agility. Okay,
Mhm.
so that's the way it has, But what has helped me is, to come through these challenges uh, and take them on head on is what I call is a triple Sunday. I call it the triple Sunday. We all love ice creams, and we'll shout out for ice creams any day. But this triple Sunday has really helped me. This
Mhm.
triple Sunday obviously has three scoops. First scoop is initiative. Take the initiative. The 80s and 90s were great years to take an initiative and
Definitely.
project yourself, right? And even today, if you take an initiative, you can really do wonderful. Let's have a look at the number of startups that are there in India today. It's
Yeah.
probably the highest number in the world.
Mhm.
Okay. So initiative is one that one really needs to take up. Yeah. No initiative, your life is in a rut. Simple
Right.
as that. The second scoop, which is I really work for, is effort.
Mhm.
Put in that effort, give it that 100%. Back here in India, probably when we are going through our education system, the passing marks are 40%, 35%, right? Never more than that.
Yeah.
I said, great, yeah, you pass, you get 40%, you get a nice certificate, and then you celebrate. I said, you passed by 40%, but you have actually failed by 60%.
Exactly.
That is critical. Okay. When you're in school, when you're in college, when you're in a university, when you're going through your vocational training, 100% is the maximum that you can get.
Right.
Okay. But when you come into the corporate world, when you set up your own business, okay, when you set up your own startup, 100% becomes the minimum.
So true.
Okay. So this thought process has to really set in. And this is what really pushed me, to achieve as much as I could. Okay. So
Yeah.
this is the effort that one needs to really put in, nothing less than 100%. Okay. So initiative and effort. Two. And the third scoop that I am very fond of and I really want everybody in India to work on is ownership. Okay. We are champions at making excuses of passing the buck.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. In
And
any,
we
in everything.
really, yeah, I mean, it's anything and everything, as because I was in the healthcare, whenever we talked about allergy, we said you can be allergic to anything under the sun, including the sun. And when it comes to ownership, we can we can blame anything, including the sun and anything under the sun. Okay,
Right.
so there's plenty. So ownership is something that I really would work on, right, and take it up, and that is not in everything that I do for myself as well as for my team. Okay,
Awesome.
and that has really helped me. Ownership really comes into play today. When you are working with generation Y, that is the millennials, and the Generation Z, particularly the millennials, they don't need a manager, they need a coach. And you need to be, as the team leader, available to them even at 12 o'clock in the night. Okay.
Oh,
That kind of ownership has to come in. Then the work really sets into. Today, our workforce, if you look at any office workforce, 80 to 100% of the workforce are millennials. And of course, now Generation Z is stepping in, right? There would be small percentage, about 10% or so, would be the Generation Z now working in. Okay. So we really need that ownership to come into play. And if you don't do that, you're not going to get this group of millennials working for you,
very
right?
true.
Contributing, what we call engaged. Okay. So that's how I handle these challenges which you are asking me. And there were plenty across India. And
Yeah.
yeah, so the initiative, I mean, a very simple example. I mean, back in the 80s and 90s, Supriya, you would know if we wanted to connect with somebody, we had to go to a post office, get one of those
Exactly.
letters or postcards, put a
True.
stamp, post it, waited 1 week for it to arrive, and then somebody responded. It took about 3 weeks for a communication to happen. I
Yeah.
mean, not a communication, I would say just the transaction to happen, right? So we really needed that. So initiative, effort, and ownership. Three words, my triple Sunday, as I call it, helped me, and it still helps me to take on all these challenges.
So I will say only one thing, that your three scoops, which you had said, right? It's not only just three scoops. It is just three scoops of your golden experience, golden knowledge, and golden skills, which you had shared with us, Andrew. And I'm sure people would love to take these three scoops in their life, and whenever they will feel any sort of stress with their challenges, they are going to remember these three scoops and they will move forward. So, thank you so much for sharing such lovely challenges and how we should take circumstances as challenges or as problem. It's mostly depend upon our perception. So, be in a happy perception, you can say a positive perception, and that's make you a real person. So thank you so much for this loveliest answer, I must say. Thank you so much. Well, moving to this lovely journey of Global Talk Show with Andrew, now I would love to know, along with my global audience, Andrew, what is your job profession, and are you into coaching, and how people can leverage your knowledge with their strengths?
Oh, I mean, yeah, okay. So I over and done with the corporate world, and now
Yeah.
I've been a freelance consultant for the last 3, 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
Let's not count 2 years of COVID, so 2 years, I will say.
Yeah.
So I have been trying to champion a learning mindset uh, with all that I interact with. I've been interacting with corporates, with government PSUs, banks, education
Yeah.
universities, so MBA students as well as faculty development programs. So on both sides, I've been taking care of that. A little
Mm-hmm.
bit with the army, entrepreneurs, the startups that come in place, and a lot with business leaders, working with them.
Super.
So it's been training, it's been coaching, it's been mentoring, it's been just simple motivational workshops, which we try to deliver. Done a bit of assessment centers also for people. Assessment centers, of course, are extremely useful in the long run for any organization, and something that I would really stress on. Not
Mm-hmm.
just the assessment center, but also post what happens. That is also required. So these are a few things that I've been doing, and I've been doing it under the brand name of Claire Skills,
Wow.
CLARE, Claire Skills. Claire is an acronym which I've
Mm-hmm.
taken. With C is for communication, L for leadership, A for accountability, R for relationship, and E for empathy. I believe 5 skills which are required by any person, any professional that goes through. So we've been doing that, and we have had a fair run, I would say, and would love to build it up. So working on those, working on some innovative sessions or programs that we could deliver. And yeah, that's the way it goes. In all that, in the between all that, I wrote a little book called Stay Liquid, which is
Wow.
available on yeah, which is available on Amazon. So you can pick that up. Has a lot of references, or particularly to leadership, good
Wow.
and bad leadership. So
So
that's what I've been doing. A few articles and posts, things of
that
that sort.
that
Those
I was
keep
really,
happening.
yeah. So here I would love to connect my global audience who are watching us live from 35 countries. If you have such requirements of coaching, mentoring, or if you want to get some great knowledge, or as if you want to become a coaching or great coach, Andrew, so this is the right opportunity to grab it. You can find him on LinkedIn. He's there on social media. And please, please, please go through this book, and really, 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 you will transform yourself into the best person, I can say, into the best version of your life. Not only best person, but best version. So kindly go through this book, and you can find easily available on Amazon, and make your life very, very awesome, very, very wonderful. So here is the way. Kindly find it before it moves out of your hand. So this is really awesome, Andrew, the work which you are doing. You have been into an author, you've been into coaching, mentoring. This is really, really fabulous one. All right. Now, this is the time when everybody wants to know what are Andrew's dreams, because everybody is having some dream, mission, motto, and that will keep us alive and engaged, and always be in spirit. So in your life, we want to know, what are your dreams? What is your mission, vision you have planned for?
It's very simple. You just look at my surname. My surname is Shepherd, right? And
Exactly.
it probably will describe exactly what I want to do
Yeah.
now and in future. Okay. There are lots and lots of people who I can help, and I just would love to help them.
Wow.
That's it.
So this is the door for everyone, an inspiring door and helping door. So kindly connect with this door and let it open. Let you embrace the positive abundance of knowledge, skills, and attitudes. So thank you so much, Andrew. And before we take an adieu or goodbye or lovey, good evening, good night, or good any part of the world greetings, we want to know your positive message to our global audience.
Uh, it's a positive message, but with a negative connotation.
Sure.
Okay. And it's three words again, which I like my triple Sunday. So this
Three
is I've
scoops.
not yet given it a title, but it's three words. Two I have taken from Ratan Tata, one of our greatest leaders of India, and one I have added from my own experience.
Mhm.
Uh, I would really love everybody in India to avoid three things. Avoid three things. One, jealousy.
Yeah, very true.
Second, pettiness. These are the two words which Ratan Tata has himself spoken about in his book. And the third, which I've added, is appeasement.
Very true.
These three words or these three behaviors, if they are being seen at the workplace,
Mhm.
it kills culture of the workplace, it kills innovation, it kills ownership, it kills scalability, it kills sustainability. I, practically, you're down to a company, as in India, we call it the Lala company,
Yeah.
way of working. And that authoritarian, I am the king mentality really does not take a company forward.
Very
Okay.
true.
You will do well maybe for 5 years or 10 years, but then it catches up.
Mhm.
So my request to everybody in India is avoid three words: jealousy, pettiness, and appeasement. Forget about jugars and settings. It was very
Yeah,
famous.
differences.
मैंने अपना बेटे को set कर दिया. I mean, that's a Hindi
Yeah,
phrase. And what it says is, I have set my son. That means got him
yeah,
got him a job. Without merit, I have, got a person, or I am doing something, by setting, that is not by merit, not by sustainability, not by scalability, nothing, but it's just happening. So these don't last. These don't last. So just my request, leave these three behaviors outside the workplace. Jealousy, pettiness. Pettiness includes so many things, bullying, all this
yeah.
comes under pettiness. And then appeasement. Just leave these three words out, and we would have a fantastic workplace everywhere.
I totally reciprocate the same. This is really, really true. As an Indian, I can sense the same thing. But this beautiful message is, I think it's for across the globe, and kindly follow the footsteps of Andrew. Really, really awesome. So I will say only one thing. These are really golden moments, golden knowledge, skills, and attributes. Kindly go through the book which Andrew has written, authored, and make your life successful, meaningful, and wonderful. So thank you so much, Andrew, for coming to our show. It's really, really a great enlightenment, a great pleasure, along with my Global Talk Show. Once again, thank you.